That's even better. Now, who else do we have? We have another. Well, I thought we did. No, we did. We have another caller. Who else is called in? Well, it's okay if you don't want to tell who you are, but we know your phone number. Oh, there's the Cravens. Yay, yay, yay. I was hoping Fran might be on too because she's y'all know Fran? Just from Support for Life?
Yeah.
Yeah, she put out a post or something this morning, like she was having some stress and needing a little bit of support. So, but I think it's just because that holiday stuff, that's what I wanted to sort of touch on tonight. But I want everyone's input because everybody on here is planning their world to be what it's going to be at Christmas time. But I wanted to touch on a few truth things, things that sometimes it's hard to be very open and honest and transparent about how we really feel at the holiday season. So, but anyway, before, of course, everybody on here knows me, so I don't have to introduce myself. But I actually found something today, and I posted it just at the last minute, but I wanted to sort of read this, but it's Happiness for the Holidays, Try and Experiment. Deepak Chopra says the holidays, officially a time of good cheer, have become instead a byword for stress, overeating, running up bills, and enduring one's relatives. This falls in line with the last two posts on happiness and our dubious relationship to it. It's hard to find and define a greater goal in life than lasting happiness. Yet modern psychology, with its notions about happiness being incidental and unpredictable, discourages us from believing in lasting happiness. What's the solution? Let me suggest returning to a simple but profound idea that has endured in every spiritual tradition. Unhappiness means that you are not being yourself. When you are being yourself, happiness is permanent because the true self is by nature a peace, blissful, and undisturbed by the ups and downs of daily life. The definition of happiness, being yourself, couldn't be easier to grasp, but there's a winding path to get there when you are starting far away. The kind of happiness all of us were raised to believe in depends on the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. In the world's spiritual traditions, this is considered a false path. Not because pleasure is bad, we can leave aside the doctrine that values pain and condemns pleasure, but because it is temporary. If you want temporary happiness, a beautiful sunset, a new Porsche, Christmas turkey, or a week in the Bahamas will do the trick. But once you come down to earth, the issue of lasting happiness, the kind that no one can take away from you, remains. The holiday season is actually a holy day season, which makes it ideal for examining your relationship to happiness. I don't mean monitoring your mood as it goes up and down. Rather, use this time for a little experiment. As you move through the holidays, keep track of the following things that bring you closer to yourself or away from it. So the things that would bring us closer to ourselves would be moments of peace and joy, feeling loved, feeling safe, having a sense that you belong, lightness of being carefree, appreciating your own existence, a sense of the sacred of grace and blessedness. And so, but anyway, I'm going to stop there because I really wanted to just sort of touch on that a little bit. And I did post this on my feed today. So if you want to read it, it's with Huffington Post. And then that way you can sort of get an idea, because I think here we are, we're at the most stressful time of the year. Do any of y'all on here feel any stress right now? Yeah. So, and that's just being very honest. And how do we know we're stressed out?
I'm constantly thinking about things I have to do. I have to get it done before, Christmas.
Because you've got a deadline.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a deadline that you're trying to get these things done by the deadline. What else? What else causes stress at this time of the year?
Family.
Family? Okay, let's touch on that just a little bit. Because that was basically one of the things I was going to bring up on here tonight was family. And I just noticed one of Hannah's clients, I had posted something and she said this, going to an event that you do not want to be at. How many of y'all have had to go to some kind of Christmas thing that you didn't want to be at? But maybe your other half that you live with, or whenever you were younger before you married, they want to be there, but you don't want to be there. So how do you deal with that?
I'd say negotiate the time that you spend there, the amount of time that you spend there. So maybe instead of staying 6 hours, you go for 2.
Did you learn that today on the holiday challenge?
Well, I thought, that's a good point. You don't have to stay the entire time. I would never think to just pop in for a half an hour and then leave,
Exactly. Well, what happens if your other half isn't ready to go in 2 hours? Maybe, but you have to have that discussion before you leave.
Yeah. 2 cars.
Okay. So what's some other, because I know I felt some of these feelings. And they're real. And so okay, we've got that. We're having to go to events. How many of you on here know that you have a choice with anything you do?
Yeah.
How many of you how many of you choose what you truly, truly want to do, what you want to do, or is it based on what the other person or someone outside yourself wants you to do?
It depends. I was usually what everyone else wants to do, but I think I'm changing that a little bit. More about what I want to do.
When
in
did
a
that
nice
happen?
way. Mm-hmm.
When did that happen, Nancy?
Just over the past 4 months or so.
Oh, so yeah. And did it have anything to do with your lifestyle you were creating?
Sure did. Yes.
That's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Getting better at it.
Hey, it's a progress. You're always learning and growing and stuff. Hannah, what was you going to say?
I was going to say it depends on your healthy mind, because I really do feel like if you try to resist things, it's just going to be more persistent. So if you just kind of can go with the flow and just accept things as they are, and just really know that you are taking ownership in your life, chances are you're really going to stay focused internally on your choices anyways, and you're going to be a lot more freeing about it. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but I mean, I know with me, like if I don't want to go somewhere, but I have to go somewhere, I'm going to be like, okay, but what can I control? I can control Hannah, and that's about it. And so I just focus on what I can do and who I am as a person, because I sometimes you are the light of the party. You are the light to people's life. And yeah, they may say things that really disturb you, but really that's them working on your healthy mind. You have to learn how to overcome those things and really start working on that.
Can you touch a little bit on what some of the things you do to create that healthy mind?
Like, let's see. Okay, for instance, like whenever your family members are talking about something that is truly negative, and it's maybe judging someone else. Like I'm a big person on judging. Like I've never been the type to. I used to judge back in the day, and then I was judged, and it didn't feel too good. So then I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that to other people. So that's where I'm at. But I mean, when I do see family members that are judging or criticizing somebody, my instant reaction is, why are you doing that? That is so rude. Like that's what my internal dialogue is saying. Like, oh, like I cannot believe they're just so negative with things. Instead, I just sit there and go, thank you for my healthy mind. And I breathe in. I just take a moment. I just take a breath. And I'm just like, thank you so much for letting me be able to grow to understand, to be aware of what's going on instead of being caught up in what's going on.
Yeah.
So that was a huge shift for me. Like, instead of participating and talking bad about people or saying a comment or something like that, I actually now just step back and I smile and I'm like, wow, I don't live there anymore. Like, I'm not in that world anymore. So that's what I do. I just kind of, like I said, just step back, take a breath, and just focus on my internal dialogue and really just, be okay with where I'm at as a person, and just try to accept people for where they are and understand that they don't know the sweet life that we do, if that makes any sense. Did that answer your question?
Yes. And how you said you noticed, you sit back and smile. When did you tell that shift? At what point in your life? Because there again, I think all of us, would y'all like to know how you can sit back and smile and then not carry it home with you? How many of you can hold that in, bottle it in, but you don't say anything while you're there, but then you take it home. You take that home with you. And then you talk with your other half about what you was aggravated with. So,
do.
what's that?
That's what I used to do. I was really, really bad about that. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. But Hannah, what you were talking about, how you have you've learned to sit back and not comment. That's what I've had to learn how to do. And over the last few months, Lisa, you know how stressful it's been for me. But with the Christmas season, I mean, I'm actually better right now than I was 3 months ago. I'm done. Christmas is done. I've planned, and it's but it's taken time. It's been a matter of being able to not let what other people say, bother me. Not let that influence me in a way that it just stops me dead in my tracks, because that's what I was allowing. And so now I can sit back and say, it's okay. Let them say what they want to say. They don't know me. They don't know the internal me. And, it's okay. And not attach myself to what they think or feel about me, and not letting the craziness. And even though, like I was telling you earlier, how busy this last week has been, it's like I told you, I have more peace and more joy with the nutso hours that I've been keeping over this last week and being sick and all of that than I've had in months. But it's all up here.
Yes. Yes.
I want to kind of touch something right now because this just kind of hit me. But why do we feel like things have to get done? Why do we feel that pressure of things not getting completed? Because my thing is, if it didn't get completed, would it change your whole dynamic of your holiday season?
Good point. Anybody want to touch on that? Y'all are so good, because some of these things I wrote down, you're hitting every one of them. I'm like, yeah.
I think it has to do with your mindset. We're so trained in a way by society that we have to, at Christmas, you do this, and this. And if you don't get this, and this done, then your Christmas is ruined. And that's, you have to, like Hannah said, is the world going to collapse because I don't have outside Christmas lights up this year? No. Or if, I don't get my Christmas cards out by the 10th of the month? No. you know, and so it's your mindset. It's all in your mindset. It's, you know, how big of an impact, ask yourself, how big of an impact will this really have on my life or my family's Christmas, you know, and find out what's really important to you. But it's all in your mindset and how you look at it. Does that make sense?
It does. And what Hannah brought up about why is it that we feel like that? What do you think influences us to get caught up in the rat race of it all?
I think it's you have these expectations and you become too attached to those expectations. So one of the things that I always try to practice when I find myself getting really excited over something that I expected to happen or something that I planned that, you know, maybe didn't go the way it was supposed to go, I remind myself that I need to not be attached to these things. Having goals and having expectations is fine. Just not having that attachment is the best way I can say it.
So, attachment. How did you discover that you were attached to anything?
Well, I mean, it's really a feeling of, like, a perfect example I can use. You know, I had an event that I had planned, and I had invited a bunch of people, and a lot of people bailed last minute, to the point where it really could have ruined my entire experience, because I was pretty upset and I was hurt and I couldn't believe that, you know, they weren't there. Even though I knew deep down it wasn't anything against me. It had nothing to do with me, or you know, it's not that they weren't supporting me, but so in that moment I realized how attached I was to that expectation of them showing up. And that's when I realized, like, that is very unhealthy, A, and B, it's not the way that I need to approach it. I needed to shift my perspective on that.
That's awesome. And the quicker that you recognize it, I guess, the quicker you can shift it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because again, you have the choice. You have a choice over the thoughts that you have.
That's a good point. And in that way, so you can prolong the suffering if you choose to. You can choose not to suffer if you don't want to. Yeah.
Alyssa, can I ask you a question? Do you feel like it's more like you feel the tension? Like, do you feel like that it's like a pressure? It's like it's almost like your head hurts. And you're
like
just
an anxiety.
Yeah, I totally get it. And that's kind of like my shift of going, whoa, like, why am I stressed out about this? Like, why am I, what am I attached to? I do ask that question because it's true. I mean, you can totally get in that zone of going, okay, if this doesn't happen like this, then, you know, I'm going to be devastated. And it's like, why am I devastated? Like, it's a life or death. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I feel. Do you feel that way? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, totally. Because it's like, all right, in that moment, I can sit there and I can focus on a multitude of different thoughts, right? I can think about, oh, you know what? They're not good friends. They didn't come, you know, what was me? I'm the victim. Or I can look at it as, you know what? They weren't ready for the experience. They weren't able to do it because it didn't fit into their schedule. It has nothing to do with me, and it wasn't the time for us to experience this together. And so I can choose to identify with either of those thoughts. My choice. So what am I going to pick?
Awesome.
And the thoughts. Now, if you had chose to not have that kind of thought that you had, to where you disattached yourself, have you ever done that where you didn't disattach yourself and you could feel the sickness in your body?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I you know, before I started trying to learn about the way the mind works and attaches to these types of things, I would do it all the time, and I would almost feel hopeless because I was the victim and I had no control. My thoughts were me. I wasn't separate from my thoughts, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. That's good. This is good. I mean, does this sort of help a little bit to get, to think about, because the thing is we do focus on everyone's physical transformation where they're losing weight. But, this mind component that Dr. Anderson talks about, because once you get control of your mind, you can create whatever it is that you want to create. So that's why, especially this time of the year, it's being able to really focus on the mind and controlling it in a sense to where your outcome through the holidays can be as happy and joyful. And even if you have to be put in those situations that it's not so welcoming and you don't find a lot of joy, what if you done a little self-talk, you had to go, you knew you had to go to this event, and what if is there any way that you actually can make your experience better by your self-talk before you go into it? How many of you have had to go into a situation that you did not want to be there? And how many of you told yourself that it was going to be a joyous occasion because you were going to make it that way?
Well, you have a choice, like she was saying about, how you look at things. And that's one thing that I have always tried to do is if I had to do something like you're saying that you don't like, you can make the best of it. In your mind, you can go in and you can say, oh my gosh, I don't want to be here. This is going to be horrible. Why am I wasting my time? Or you can go in and say, you know what? I have to be here, so why not be happy about it?
I'd like to touch on that a little bit. I think that one of the biggest things to not let your mind wander is just to stay present. So right this very second, what is wrong? What's wrong? Is anything wrong right now with any of you? No, nothing is wrong. And that is always so. There's never anything wrong. What's wrong is when our minds go into places that you think about what's going to happen at the party, who's going to say this, what are they going to say to me? What am I going to look like? What are they going to look like? All of these details, and we create things that aren't going to happen, and that causes the stress, that causes the anxiety. But if we can just stay where we are at every single moment, then we're always fine. You'll always feel exactly how you do right this very minute.
That's some powerful stuff.
Man,
In the power of positive thinking, they talk about how you can actually create your own reality. And like she was saying, if you start thinking about, oh my gosh, well, what if they say this or what if they do this or whatever, you can actually bring that on yourself. You can actually, make that happen just by your thoughts. When you think a thought, 9 times out of 10, I don't know if y'all are like me, I'll talk to myself out loud. And when you think it starts the process. When you speak it becomes reality. Even though you may not have seen it happen yet, it's coming down the road. So, words are very powerful. Words start with thoughts. So yeah, that's what you can create your own reality.
Yes, thoughts become things. We know that for a fact. And what you say, what you think and what you speak, make sure it's what you want, because you're going to get it for sure. Want to touch on this a little bit too. How many of you plan on, I know there's several of you on the program that even through this holiday season, you're on the program, you've got a goal you're trying to make. How many of you are trying to make it, stay on program through the holiday season to be able to get to your goal? Okay. So what's your plan when you go to your family's house and you walk in and of course, planning ahead, you have to take a dish. What are you going to take? Are you going to take something to make sure you're taking care of yourself? Or are you going to think about everyone else over yourself?
My husband's family automatically assumes I'm bringing fresh vegetables and dip. So,
Hey, there you go. That's a good one.
funny, they gave me a lot of grief over it the first holiday and said, we never have fresh vegetables at our, we're not big vegetable eaters, but now 4 years into my marriage, I'm always shocked by how little I take home.
Yeah, and that's good. At least you don't have to take the pies or the cakes or the dressing or the whatever people eat at the holidays. We do the traditional like we do Thanksgiving. But that's good, Joe. So you done plan ahead for yourself. So what happens when you go in and you sit down with family and they notice your plate and you're not eating some of the things that they have slaved over making? What happens then?
I think it goes back to your self-talk. I think it does. Like what Brianna said, I mean, what is going on in your mind in the present moment? And staying present in who you are and not overthinking like, oh, they're mad at me, or oh, they're going to get upset, or oh, I mean, you're already creating this monster if you go that route. So if you just stay present and stay in the moment and just say, no, I didn't. No, it's okay. No, if you be playful with it, it's they're not going to sit there and hound you on why you're doing something. You might even see them pick something up.
And another thing, if they're unhappy about you not consuming something that they made for you, when it boils down to it, it's not about you. It's deeper within them. It's about them at that point.
Yes, good point. Good point. So why do some of us? Well, and I mean we've just touched on this. If we feel threatened, it's our self-talk. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
If you feel threatened, it's what's going on inside of you that you need to ask questions. Change your questions, change your life. Ask questions and answer yourself. So Becky, yes, talking to yourself, asking the questions, listen to the answer. Ask the question, listen to the answer. Because we all have an answer. Now, how many of you got to see the video that I posted in Support for Life today that was on our health challenge? Okay, maybe just a few. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I thought this right here might be good because this is dealing with holidays and stress. So there's a lot of really good pointers on this. I'm going to play it for everybody. So if everybody will,
Hey,
what?
Why don't you share your screen and you can play it on Facebook?
I don't know how to do that. Okay, wait, share my screen.
Yeah.
And then where do I go?
What does it say again? I did it with Brianna the other day.
Whiteboard and iPhone and iPad.
Just click the whiteboard or
The whiteboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? Yeah. Okay, this is wrong. We don't need this.
No. Share.
Just click, stop share.
Okay.
Here, let me look at it real quick. Oh, you just hit, see the little blue bottom down here? It says share screen.
Share. Mine's green.
Okay, I know, but look at the bottom right corner. It says share screen.
Mine doesn't.
Okay, well then never mind. Just go ahead and play on your phone.
Thanks. I'm going to get to where I'm better with this stuff.
Hi, we're Mark from Laura Blankenspore, certified health coaches, and we're going to talk just a little bit about how to manage some of the stress associated with the holidays. Holidays should be a fun time, a great time, but it can be stressful. And in the midst of what we're doing here with the Holiday Health Challenge, I'll tell you, we're going to be real with you and say it can be a challenge. So hang in there in the midst of all the busyness, all the stress that goes along with the holidays, and take time for yourself and recognize those triggers that maybe set you off. Maybe it's all the events that are happening. Maybe it's all the activities. Maybe it's time with family or in-laws, or sometimes we joke about the outlaws. Hang in there with the midst of that.
Yeah, I'll just go along with that. I think it's important to have boundaries, and if you get pulled in about 100 directions with all different parties and events, with your work, with church, with your family, with your in-laws, I think it's okay to say, you know what, it doesn't work for me. Go ahead and celebrate, have a great time. I'll catch you the next time. I think that's a healthy boundary. It's taking care of yourself. Or you could compromise. Sometimes Mark and I will go to an event, but ahead of time we'll say to each other, let's leave, at halftime, so to speak, or let's stay for half an hour. connect with a few people, and then leave. So I think it's important to just negotiate, compromise, but build in some time to refuel however you need to do that. Don't apologize.
Take care of yourself. So in the midst of what we're doing here during the holidays with these holiday health games, recognize that, you know what, you are important, and not that you're going to shun activities or stay away from things, but recognize what makes you tick and what's going to keep you healthy.
So, Brian, didn't you feel like you had another guy in here with the group? Oh man. So,
Brian.
hey, look, Steven, yeah, and Ocean. 3 guys.
And I seen him cooking today too, so that's cool.
That's a thumbs up. That's right. Yeah. So, have we touched on a few things that might get you with your armor on and get you ready for the holiday season? Is anybody scared? I'm not. What about anything else that we want to talk about? Because we've still got, what is it? See, today's the 8th. What do we have? 17 more days till Christmas. So, a little over 2 weeks. And what's that? Oh, commercial break. We do have a commercial break here.
Yes.
So, everybody ready for commercial?
Yes, we interrupt this program to hear from our sponsor. Just a minute. Oh no.
Yeah, going crazy.
Love it.
I thought maybe the twins wore it out. Okay, so this is Mrs. Santa Claus from the North Pole. And I've noticed that Santa's getting a little chubby lately. So I told him that he's going on the Shape for Life diet. And to entice him onto that, I told him he can have a little bit of Cool Whip on his brownie.
I love it.
I could encourage all of you. Rick said he was going to dress up as Santa Claus and come down here and be but I saw him go run by his underwear, so I guess that ain't happening.
I love it. Oh,
So
this is so cool. And yes, Debbie is the sugar-free Cool Whip queen. So and she's put some beautiful dishes on our Support for Life group whenever she's made her little brownie and different things, you know, and anything tastes better with a little bit of sugar-free Cool Whip on top.
And don't you love the hat?
I love it.
Yeah.
Ocean did too. Ocean loved it, didn't you, Ocean? Yeah.
Yeah, it survived about 3 Christmases with the twins. So just talking about what you've been talking about, I'll tell you, we have a big family. So I just was on the phone tonight trying to arrange with all these kids and daughter-in-laws and everybody where we're going, where we're going to be. I just know that the event's a lot easier if it's not happening in my house and if I go to it, because if you go to it, you can leave. But if they're in your house, you're going to be here until they all go home. So look on the bright side.
That's another good point that I know I've had to deal with. Not a lot, but I think how many of you have so many places you have to go to that it puts a lot of stress, especially the younger generation. You know, we've got to go here, got to go there. You got to, and that itself can put a lot of stress in you. And then what if you've got those in-laws or even your own family that says, no, we will have Christmas on Christmas Eve and we're not changing our time. You ever had that happen?
We gave that up years ago. We're just happy when we can get together. You know,
See,
we got son that's a nurse. You know, we got to be there when he has his weekend off. And we have the twins have a birthday on December 21st. We have a grandson that has a birthday on the 13th. So you throw all that in there, and I just look forward to January 1st.
Yes. Yes.
And they keep rearranging. And we've tried, you know, we've done the big family all at once, but I really don't like doing presents that way because that's just such a mess. I like having more smaller, intimate with each of the families. So
I try and wrap presents as the order of what we're going to each other's house, and they keep changing the days on me. So I start wrapping this family's presents, and they go, "Oh no, we can't do that weekend. We can do this other weekend." So I'm like, "Wait, well, then I'm gonna wrap these presents because we're going there next." So
Yeah.
I just need a bigger calendar. That's all.
Well, that's a good idea. Like you said, it's been able to just go with the flow and make it pretty simple. And the go to wherever, especially if you have children and stuff. So I think I mean, you're helping me. So
Well, for us, it's nice to go and see their house and their tree and each one, you know, and have a time to visit with each family individually. And then we usually all get together after Christmas and have a sledding party or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But
well, that's great. That's great.
and I bring the Cool Whip. That's what I
There
bring.
you
I
go.
bring the Cool Whip. And Santa.
So why don't we go through before we close? Is there any questions? Anybody want to comment on anything about what we talked about tonight? Because I do believe that stuff like this is important. And also I wanted to share, you know, especially we are bombarded as a society by TV, by everything, just saying, get out there, be in the rat race and do this, do that. And so we have to really be able to just, you know, just like Brianna said, be in the present moment, because sometimes our mind can get drawn into those things. So, you know, being mindful is huge in the world we live in today. So, but with us closing, if nobody has anything that they want to, like any questions or anything, why don't we start, you know, why don't we each share one thing that can maybe make your holiday season just even happier or more joyful than you know, something that you do personally for yourself. Share just that one thing as we go through the screen, you know, with the group, because there again, we're all in this together. So it's just one thing you would want to tell the group about the holidays. One thing.
I'll start.
Okay.
One thing that you should maybe try implementing when you are together with your families. It's a time that people are reading and they're doing gifts and they're doing everything like that, but it's really a time to be grateful for the family that you have and, you know, the life that you have. And so to not just, you know, say that you're grateful, but truly harness those emotions and those feelings during these holiday seasons.
That's a good one. Gratitude is huge. Who wants to go next?
I feel like I can really add to kind of what she said. Like this past year, I noticed that like while I was with my family, I really looked at them for the first time. We're so used to seeing each other and we're all over the place and we're doing this and we're doing that and we're stressed out. And like when people are opening their gifts, or like your father or your sister or your mom or whoever it is, just really look at them, you know, look at the lines on their face, look at their body and appreciate them for being there at that time and moment. Because they won't look like that forever, you know, and it's just really special if you really look at them. So.
That's good too. Brianna, thanks. Who wants to go next?
I like that. I was going to add to that is I want to learn something new from everyone that I'm around. If I'm going to be around my grandchildren or my kids, which is very rare that I am, but this year I will be. So I think it's important that I want to learn something new about them, as well as giving them love, just being able to embrace and hug spontaneously, not expected hug, but just a spontaneous throughout my time with them.
Yes, that's good too.
And touching on that too, and I'll try to make it through this without crying. You're talking about being grateful. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And so be thankful that that you're together and that you still have them. And you know, just treasure that moment.
Yeah.
And be flexible. Be flexible as well. Flexibility will give you freedom that nothing else will.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and go next. Sharing with some of you who've already touched on that. I know for me, I've had an aunt this year that was diagnosed with cancer just a few months ago. And for me this year, even Thanksgiving, I stayed in observation mode. I really observed what was, just, and I actually reflected more about my childhood, about where I came from, those kind of things. So I felt myself more in the present moment than I've ever been because I was in observation. And that itself fed me with gratitude.
I guess
Anybody else?
Ask a lot of questions. Ask questions on things you do not know about people in your family. I know for me personally, I've been gone for 5 years, and this is my first Christmas being back with all my family. And there's so much you miss. And asking those questions, because you never know whenever you'll get a chance to ask those questions again. Questions on stuff that maybe it's about, like even asking your grandmother, like, what was life like whenever you got to do this as a kid? Or those kinds of things, because their memories will live on only through you. And so, I mean, we're always good at asking questions when it comes to Take Shape for Life, but incorporate that into your family and incorporating that into them, showing them that you are interested in their life.
Good point, Hannah. Being interested in someone else.
Hannah, you took my.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say ask questions about people.
Can everybody mute their phones? Whoever, if you're not speaking.
A lot of times oops.
Okay.
Okay, so I was gonna say, asking questions about people and being interested in what they're doing, or just engage in more conversation about them rather than, I don't know.
The outside
I
stuff.
seem to get into a lot of little small talk that kind of, I don't know, that cocktail talk that really doesn't really mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
Not that it always has to be in-depth heavy, but I don't know. Just be a little more personal to different people.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I think that if we do all the things that we're saying that we would like to do, we may stay away from the food more if we're doing more talking. And that's what my goal is. I'm not one to do a lot of talking, but I'm going to try. But that's what I think with all of these things. If we're busy with other people and doing things, there will be less standing around the table. Or
I agree. That's good, Nancy. That's a good point.
Okay, I got something to say.
Okay.
It's real simple. We're just going to all have to breathe through it. Remember what Christmas and all that is all about. It really, it's not about all that food. It's about what's going on in our hearts, Jesus Christ. As long as we keep it simple, we're all going to get through it. Just breathe.
I agree. See, the breathing part's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Good, Terry. Thank you. All right. We got the Cravens and Joe left.
Well, I guess my suggestion would be to don't sweat the small stuff. Don't make more of it in your feelings or in your thoughts about anything that anybody says or anything that transpires than what it is. Take it for face value, consider the source, and then move on.
I agree. don't sweat the small stuff. Because it's all small stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, yep. And I know that's easier said than done, but quite often I find myself going over a conversation that I've had, with a family member and making more of it than what it needs to be. And again, right back to what we discussed earlier in the meeting, your thoughts, my thoughts, I think, and my feelings tend to make more of a situation than what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to focus on trying to let it go.
Awesome. Let it go. Okay, Cravens.
You want to go first?
You go first.
I'm going to try to reflect on, all your blessings that you had during the year, your goals, even if they're small little goals, family, marriage, all the things you're blessed with. And don't get stuck in a routine. That's one thing that I've learned out of all this. Do not get in a routine. Whatever you got to do just to make something different, whatever you got to do. Make Christmas different. It don't have to be the same old Christmas. And I guess that's it. And don't take time for granted.
Mm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mine is don't stress over the little things. Go with the flow and don't worry about it. If you can't do it, don't do it.
All this is good stuff, guys.
Don't forget Rachel.
Where is Rachel?
Well, Rachel was on. Maybe she's not on anymore. She was.
I don't think she is. We have another caller on. What'd you say, no shit?
He's been talking the entire time. I'm sorry.
Oh, we love it. He loves it. Well, I think this is going to be good because we can reflect on this. And you know what? I've recorded it. So I can stick it in Support for Life. So if you're getting ready to go to an event and you need to get back on and listen to some of these things that we've shared tonight, wow, we have some really good resources, don't we? Yeah. So
I just add one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Dance more, sit less.
Dance more and sit less. There you go. See, that's right. We get those neat points in. That's right.
We're learning the triple two-step, so.
All right. I love it. I love it. So this has been, do y'all find this has been helpful? Yeah. We're all in this together. So supporting each other, sharing ideas with one another, and just more than anything, just loving one another. So, but anyway, if that's all we have tonight, I really appreciate everyone being on and sharing your goodness and your heart with us. And we've been seeing all these gals doing all these videos, and I just want to tell Brianna I've seen hers today, and man, great message. And Brian and Amy, you guys need to be doing some cooking shows. I think Hannah and Steven said they challenged you guys to do some cooking videos, putting it out there. So we got some challenges coming up for 2016, so get ready.
And even if you just put in Support for Life, it's safe there.
Exactly. We'll all cherish it, I promise you. But anyway, with that, we'll close, and coaches, if you will, we'll meet on Thursday night so that way we can cover some stuff. Some of you that want to go through our map, we'd love for you to be on then. But with that, guys, have a great night. Get a good night's rest, and we'll see you the next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, guys.